It's the invisible wounds on the population. Gaza is densely populated. There was no place for the people to rush to when there is an airstrike. Thousands have fled their homes, and the hard memories from 2014 conflict came back to the surface of the population. Children were impacted with the heavy explosions and airstrikes. Those people who lost their loved ones or who witnessed the airstrikes, the explosions, and the attacks have bear all the brunt of this escalation. This is at the psychological and at the people level. Those who also lost their homes, either partially or completely, they rush to schools for a shelter, and they are now preparing if there is a possibility to go back and to see the damages that happened to their properties. Electricity in best case scenarios, now the population receive 3 to 4 hours of electricity a day. This all have a huge impact on hospitals. The health system of Gaza is a fragile health system. It has been exposed to many crises, especially the corona pandemic in the last 1 year and a half. Doctors in Gaza and nurses were dealing with the second wave of corona before the escalation, and they should have dealt with the influx of injuries during the 11 days. Now they are dealing with the trauma and with that treatment of the injured, thousands of injured people at hospitals.
During those 11 days, how did ICRC function on the ground during the violence? It must be really difficult.
It was so hard to move due to the security situation and due to the continuous airstrikes. But we did our best with the rarely movements that we did during the 11 days to support the hospitals with medicines, medical items, that enough to at least help the doctors and nurses to deal with the treatment of the influx of injuries. We supported the Palestine Red Crescent Society to help in running their ambulances. The International Committee of the Red Cross support the ambulance services of the Palestine Red Crescent Society, who step up their response during the escalation to evacuate the injured with more than 420 volunteers, and we supported them also with medical items. The teams facilitated, or the ICRC also support the water utility in Gaza and the electricity company. Those are the two main service providers for these vital services.
From humanitarian assistance from ICRC point of view, how do you see the clash, the fighting between Israel and Hamas within Gaza? Because it's been ongoing for about 15 years already. How do you see, or what perception of violence that's happening?
Well, in any conflict, and Gaza, as I mentioned, is not an exception. Any conflict always have the consequences that the civilians bear the consequences of any conflict in the world. And the Gazans have gone through not only the almost 55 years of the occupation, but also through several rounds of active hostilities and escalations with 1-2 days of escalation, destruction, reconstruction, destruction, reconstruction. This cycle should have an end, and the politicians, officials in both sides should put the civilians on the top of their agenda and should know and realize that their decisions of today, they are not only impacting the present of the population, it's also impacting the future of the population on both sides.
Ms. Sukau, we see loss of life of children on both sides, Palestinian and Israeli as well. So how do you see the future of these young people growing up in violent situation like this?
Yeah, it's not only the 50 years, as you mentioned, but also it's the past 18 years. So a young guy from either Israel or Gaza, they in their very short time in life, they witness or four violent cycles of hostilities, and this has a huge impact on the mental health of the children on both sides. I mean, this is why I'm saying officials on both sides should realize that their decisions today are impacting the future of the population on both sides, and lots should be done from their side to put the civilians on the top of their agenda and to have a brave decisions. It's easy to conduct hostility. It's easy to have a fire, like a conflict can erupt in a second, but the impact of this conflict can last for a lifetime of those children. A huge humanitarian assistance can help here and there, but without solving the roots of the problems by reaching a permanent political solution, it would be so difficult for people on both sides to continue their lives and to attempt to have a normal life.